Cowboys look to boost their NFC resume as they host the undefeated Panthers. Now, Dallas's offense looks as good as ever. They rank 4th in rushing right now. Meanwhile, though, Carolina has a stingy defense themselves. They rank best in the league by only allowing 45 yards a game on the ground. Shannon, I don't know if you're going to get this one back once Skip starts talking, so let's start with you. How tough of a game will this be for Skip's Cowboys?
I don't think it's going to be particularly tough. I think the Cowboys will probably control this ball game, kind of like they did with the Eagles on Monday night, Skip.
You're comparing the Panthers to the Eagles?
Yeah, Skip, they beat the Jets. The Jets scored less than a touchdown a game. What am I supposed to do with that? Well, they beat the Texans with David Mills.
They did.
And they count the bad Jameis.
Well, they made him the bad Jameis.
So Skip, I don't really know how to properly evaluate the Carolina Panthers just yet. I see their stats, lead the league in sacks, #1 in rush defense. I see all of that, but when I step back and look at who have they played, the Jets, really, a rookie quarterback in Zach Wilson. The Texans, a rookie quarterback in Davis Mills, and Jameis. And Jameis had a bad day on that particular day.
Coming off the demolition of Aaron Rodgers and company.
And then guess what? He came right back and did a demolition on the New England Patriots. So Skip, for me, and plus the Cowboys caught a break with no C-Mac. They got C-Mac.
I will give you that one.
With no
huge break.
Right, because he can catch it and run it. I like DJ Moore. I like a couple of the tight ends. I think Trimble is his name. So, I like some of the pieces that they got, Skip. But for me, when I look at they beat the Texans and they beat the Jets, I'm like, are they really this good? Or have they caught some really bad teams early? So I'm leaning towards that, Skip. I don't think the game is going to be close as the Fox bet spread. I think it's 4.5. I'm going to say the Cowboys win 31-17.
31-17, says Shannon Sharp, Cowboy hater. In fact, head of the Cowboy hating society.
Right. But this game is definitely more important for you than it is the Carolina Panthers because you don't want to hear those echoes. Same old Cowboy.
Well, are you trying to jinx them with your Or are you seeing the light?
No.
I think you're finally embracing all things Cowboys because you're seeing what I'm saying is true.
Skip.
That they are legit. They are different. They are, as Troy Aikman said the other day, special.
You're not
special.
You're not special.
S-P-E-C-I-A-L, special.
Okay, special.
Well, you love Sam Darnold. You loved him going into the draft, and you definitely loved him one day in 2019 up at Jets when he beat my Cowboys. He beat Dak Prescott head-to-head 24-22 after Amari quit.
But Skip, and when people beat the Cowboys, I don't give them great because I don't hold them in such high regards. So I mean, but I did realize I do believe that Skip, Sam Darnold looks better. Now, has Sam Darnold still? And for all those that's like, well, Sam Darnold should have stayed at the Jets. You still be bad because they don't have the pieces around him to make him good like what they have in Carolina.
Do you believe that Carolina's defense is what I would call legit?
Skip, I don't know. I don't know, Skip.
Shannon Sharp says not sure.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the Texans' offense and the Jets' offense are legit?
I do not.
Okay.
Especially with those two young quarterbacks.
Okay.
Hassan Reddick is legit. Brian Burns is real deal. They fly off the edge. They create havoc. And I think Dak will be under more fire than he's been under yet.
They pressure the quarterback more than any other team.
Yeah, they are leading in sacks. Remember, Tampa is still at the bottom of the barrel in sacks with only 3. So Dak actually got to survive game 1 when I thought they'd be hell to pay. And it's not happening yet. Okay, they haven't caught the fire that they caught late in the year last year. Tampa hasn't. Okay, I do think the defense is so legit that it is difficult to run against this defense. But I also think these are the newfangled Dallas Cowboys. I think they have figured out that when they are special is when they can run the ball first, that they run it to throw it, which has almost become a prehistoric concept in the NFL. My team is now 4th in rushing behind the usual suspects, as you know. You start with Baltimore, you go to Cleveland, you go to Tennessee. Obviously, boom, 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 those 3 can run the ball. Who thought the Cowboys, even after 3 games, would be 4th on that list? They have a Thunder and they have a Lightning. They have a sleek Zeke. They have a a bounce back Zeke. I'm not saying he's going to be the first 3 years Zeke, but he can still hammer away between the tackles, and he can beat a defense into psychological submission if you keep hammering him away, because he will run through brick walls. He still has the best body lean of any back in football, and all of a sudden, Tony Pollard in his third year is emerging as, I'm not going to go star, but as a supremely gifted complementary back with a burst that Zeke no longer has. Thunder and lightning. So all of a sudden I say, wait, now I'm back to my all-time favorite stat. It's back on track. Dak Prescott as quarterback is 26-0 when they run it more than they throw it. That's staggering to me. Think about that. He hasn't lost us at 26-0 if they simply hand it off more times than they throw it. Okay? So have they found the magic formula? I sure hope so. Well, here's the ultimate test of the magic formula.
Well, a lot of that came from, Skip, in the early years, like you mentioned, the first 3 years when Zeke was Zeke.
Okay.
So you understand why that stat would be what it is.
I got it, but it still holds water. It still shows you that this year you start out throwing 58 passes at Tampa, and you hung in the game until you got goated late in the game. But 58 passes, and Dak checked out of, what was it?
28.
So it was 10 times he checked out of a run and threw it, right?
Yeah.
A called run. Right. Well, he hasn't been doing that the last 2 games.
Well, I know. I see how you all get in. Your voice is picked up, and every time you talk about the Cowboys, you perk up.
Special.
Yeah, you perk up.
Yep.
You all cheesing over there.
Special.
Yeah, like a goat eating browse through a barbed wire fence. But let me tell you what's going to happen. That bucket.
Did you just call me the goat?
No,
Thank you. I'll take that.
No, I'm saying you over there smiling.
I am the goat.
You smiling because you doing something you know you're not supposed to do. But
what are you talking about?
You over there talking about the Cowboys. You see when you talking about Cowboys, you like, my Cowboys and my Cowboys.
Different. But I told you coming into the season.
But that hole in water.
Yep.
Watch somebody poke a little hole in that.
Okay, all right.
And by the time you get to the finish
is it
line,
going to be the Panthers? Go ahead. Plunge.
No.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about the ultimate test. They can flat out stop the run. I believe we will run it down their throats, or try to.
Well, hold on. If they can stop the run, how y'all gonna run it down their throat if they can stop the run?
Because we're that good. Because I kept telling you, I'm not saying that this is the dynastic 90s Cowboys.
Yes, you
but
are.
the teams I covered with Emmitt Smith, everybody loaded the box. They put 12 in the box, and Norv Turner's saying, yeah, and I'm just going to give it to the little man and let him just duck and dart behind those big elephant offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to stop it. I don't care what you do.
Right.
You can play any junk defense you want to play.
Right.
We're just going to run 22. Okay.
Okay.
Catch 22.
So,
right?
so that's what you believe. So that's what you got right now. You got Emmitt. You got the 90s Cowboys.
We've got this era's equivalent of Thunder Lightning Emmitt. So it takes 2 for 1.
Right.
But we can run it and like command the game, where you take control of the game. And this is the ultimate test, and I can't wait to see it, but I believe we can at least run for 100 yards, which is significant. They're allowing, what, 61
45,
a game? No, 45. That's right. 45 yards a game they're allowing. So if we get to 100, we're going to win. I got it 27-17, so I'm kind of in your ballpark. And yet my defense is also becoming special because of the guy you saw coming before I did. Micah Parsons, he's a Shannon Sharp discovery. The irony, the delicious irony is you discovered him for me. Thank you very much. And I know Jerry watches our show, and he says, well, Shannon Sharp is saying he's the best defensive player on the board, right? You said it. I didn't say it. I said I need a cornerback, and I still do need a cornerback, but Anthony Brown's been... He's been passable.
Weak links, Skip. Okay. Everybody get the touchdowns on him.
But Jalen underthrew the ball early in the game today, and at least he was there, Johnny on the spot. And we are leading the league in turnovers. That is unheard of. We are leading the league in turnover differential. That's how you win divisions, and that's how you advance in the playoffs, is you win the turnover battle.
I mean, for some reason, that's what they were in when he was in Seattle. For whatever reason, he couldn't carry that over to Atlanta. Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator. Because they could take the ball away. They had Earl Thomas, they had Cam, they had Sherm, they had Brandon Browner before he ran off the rails. They had they had a very, very good team that was speed. They were undersized, but they would run and get to the football, and they would cause problems.
Okay. I love DJ Moore. You won't remember this.
Oh, I like him, from Maryland.
I campaigned for him to go to the Cowboys remember, they didn't have Amari yet. And I'm thinking they should just go ahead and take DJ Moore.
Right.
They took Wolf Hunter,
Right.
and he's been okay, and he's bouncing back a little bit this year. But DJ Moore is spectacular.
Yeah.
He's a difference maker for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he's playing unbelievable.
Because Sam Darnold didn't have DJ Moore with the Jets.
And Robbie Anderson,
he did have.
And Robbie Anderson has not got up to the start that he had last year, Skip, but he's a viable receiver.
Once upon a time in that 24-22 game in 2019 at Jets, Sam Darnold hit Robbie Anderson for like a 100-yard touchdown. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
My God, you were up in Denver in the owner's box screaming. You lost your voice like Brady's lost his voice, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, again, another litmus test for my team. Can you run the ball on the best run defense in football? I say yes. Can you slow down Sam Darnold and DJ Moore? I've got Trevon Diggs, who was just named the Defensive Player of the Month in the National Football League.
Right.
Well, at least I got one corner who's a stud and a star.
Right. And I think the thing that I like about him is that he's willing to accept the responsibility of going up against the best receiver. He said, okay, whoever the best receiver, be it Keenan Allen, be it Mike Evans, be it this way, I don't care. I want that responsibility. And for such a young guy to want that kind of responsibility.
Yep.
But I told you last year, Skip, this kid watching him, I say, Skip, he has the potential to be an all-pro. He has the potential to be a Pro Bowl player. And
I think he's headed there now.
I think he's headed there also.
I'm going to knock on wood.
But I really, really knew after watching Michael Parsons play the little handful of games I saw him at Penn State,